before we get to Jake, I want to talk about the U.S. Women's National Team Gold Cup semifinal, U.S. against Canada, out at Snapdragon Stadium. And I mentioned where the game was played because it rained in San Diego, which, what happened? It doesn't rain in San Diego. We all saw Anchorman. It's the most beautiful weather city in the world, right? And it rained quite a bit, and the pitch was quite waterlogged. I mean, certain parts of it you couldn't connect passes. We saw the first goal from Jaden Shaw, which it only happened because of a back pass that didn't even get close to the goalkeeper, Caitlin Sheridan. And
the puddle got the assist on that.
Puddle got the puddle.
Giving credit where credit's due.
This is where we need to update the record books. The puddle needs to get some credit in that goal.
The sentient puddle, yeah. Kind of even for the second goal, too, for the Sophia Smith goal. Yeah, that one holds up. Like, it gets flicked on by Rose Lavelle and definitely holds up because of another puddle. So puddle's playing a big role in this game.
And it played, the puddles helped with certain goals, also hurt with some. I mean, there was a run in the first half that Trinity Rodman was making, and she literally is going to be 1v1 against the goalkeeper, and she overran the ball. The ball was back there while she was going forward.
It was brutal. It was brutal.
So it was difficult to watch. And look, as just a fan watching it, I'm just like, this is especially the first half so uncomfortable. I'm like, one, I'm worried somebody's gonna get hurt. Two, I'm just like, you can't make any passes. So they're just sending the ball over the top, over and over and over, just up in the air. It's just everybody's heading the ball. There's almost no point in keeping the ball on the ground. And there was a little bit of controversy. I don't know if you've been seeing it on Twitter, but there was a little bit of controversy about why the game was even played at all, because everybody's tagging Christina Uncle and trying to find out if the ref decided that this game was supposed to go forward. But then there's footage of the referee speaking to someone from CONCACAF, and the CONCACAF person is telling them that the game has to be played. So there might have been some disagreements. Some people are blaming the ref, some people are blaming CONCACAF. Even the players after the game were just like, nobody wanted to play this game, but it is what it is. They had to do it. So in the midst of the snow game from RSL and LAFC, and then there's just been a lot of complaining and frustration. But in general,
global warming is a myth, though. Don't worry.
Okay. It's all good. I'm glad you said it. You stole the words right out of my mouth, Taylor. It's in general, just your opinion. Is it should the game, both of the games maybe, should they have even been played at all?
Probably not. I honestly think the USA Canada game was worse.
I agree.
Mostly because I kind of like snow games. I like playing in the snow. I like when the orange ball comes out and you have to constantly clear the line so you can see where the touchline is. But it also yes, it's gonna dictate how you play, and it's gonna impact the aesthetically pleasing nature of
the
a
product.
game.
That's my issue. It's the product is worse. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, objectively.
Sure. And but at least in snow, you kind of know it's going to be calamitous. With that pitch last night, it's much more just you don't know. As you said, if you're on a dribble and you feel like you're going to make something happen, and suddenly the ball has stopped and you've kept running, it did devolve into. It reminded me of playing beach soccer. If you've ever done that, where you have to lift the ball up to then hit it, you can't just kick it the way you normally would. It was a lot of that, and it was a lot to your point of just. It was like tug of war and golf simultaneously, of just kicking it one way, kicking it back, and eventually working it down the field in that style. And it did seem like Lindsay Horan seemed to figure it out pretty quickly. That just kick the ball long and just try to figure out what chaos is going to happen accordingly. And there was so much chaos in that game.
Yeah. I mean, everyone was no back passes. No.
After the one.
after the one, they learned from their mistake, but no back passes, and then just clear it. Doesn't matter if you think you're gonna get. You can maybe maintain control or whatever. It was just clear it out of the touchline. Worry about it later, and get back to defending.
Lori Lindsay, who I love when she does commentary, she did have one moment where she was like, you got to just put it out of bounds. And I was like, she might have been trying to. That ball just stopped. I can't really fault anybody for that one, for not seeing that coming. I was shocked even that the U.S. celebrated the way they did. Honestly, if that's me scoring a goal, probably I just run off and celebrate. But I think there's at least a little bit of you that would be like, hey, I know. That was not it's like when Messi vaults the player and then still gets the shot off. It's got to be a little bit I know that wasn't cool, but I had to go for it anyway.
I mean,
sorry.
It I think, a reasonable celebration. If she would have started doing like the worm after celebration, I'm like,
Puddle
Jaden
slide.
Shaw,
Yeah.
I don't know if you need to do all that. I mean, I think the water did most of the work here. I don't know.
Little bit, man.
But so it was a game that started off pretty dull. I thought the U.S. would just hold on because where were the goals going to come from? It didn't feel like there were going to be that many opportunities. But Canada figured something out. I mean, they got Jordan Heidemann got the tying goal and was 1-1. And then Sophia Smith gets the second goal in extra time after Rose Lavelle wins a header
We all saw that
off
coming,
of two
right?
center backs. I didn't
Yeah,
know
right.
Rose got ups like that, but apparently she does. So
Roosevelt is 3.5 feet tall, right? You've met her.
Roosevelt is, I think, she has to be like 5'6", maybe 5'7". I mean, we interviewed her, and she's not that tall, but that was an impressive
5'4".
5'4". I
That's
thought
what she
was taller
lists
than that.
at. I feel like maybe a couple inches shorter than that. She is noticeably small. Like I remember watching her play for the Spirit and just being like, oh, there's a 13-year-old. Oh, it's Rose Lavelle, who's like still ridiculously good. I love her as a player. She's incredible. It was wild to see her winning a header over two center backs to play in another player. That's not really what I expect from her. But
So big
more
goal
power
for
to her.
Sophia Smith, who obviously was pretty emotional, especially after the World Cup that she had and stuff like that. But then that's when the game started getting interesting because they, the first half of extra time, they got the goal. It just feels. I was just praying for. First of all, I was praying for no extra time. Then I was like, all right, no penalties. Thank you, Sophia Smith. And then it's Adriana De Leon, I think.
Yeah.
De Leon. She scores the penalty after Alyssa Naeher
Murder somebody.
just literally punches a Canadian.
Yep.
And it was a fairly serious injury. The player had to be. There was also another controversy because the player got subbed off. It was a concussion sub before penalties. So apparently the substitution happened 4 seconds before the final whistle, and we all know you can't make substitutions in penalties. So they got in the concussion sub literally 4 seconds before the final whistle was blown. So some people were kind of confused as to why they got another substitution, but from everything I've read, that's the reason. But then Alyssa Naeher, the Alyssa Naeher show. Not only does she stop 3 penalties, but scores one as well. So again, another player after a World Cup whose penalties ended the World Cup for the U.S. This was it went from what game are we watching to like, bro, this is the best game I've ever seen. So I don't know. It was quite an emotional journey.
We talk about a lot on our show that like, do we really need extra time or like or overtime? Can we just go straight to penalties, please? And this was one where then there's the goal.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, okay. Who knew? Who knew it was gonna work? But then in the end we still get penalties. I'll say I love playing on a team when there's a person who's like, I want the penalty. I don't love it when they're not good at taking them, but it's always nice to have that person who's like, nah, I got this. I'm stepping up. I'm going to finish it. You need that level of assertiveness. And she definitely had it on the night.
The third taker. I mean, there had to be a conversation as to like, all right, who's stepping up? And she's like, me. I'm like, all right, well, you're the keeper. We usually don't have you on this early. You're usually the 11th taker when we've gone through all the field players. So, I mean, what?
I don't think it was a conversation. I think she was like, I'm taking one. I don't care where, I'm taking one. And she did.
I met Alyssa Naeher when she went to Ali Krieger's. Her and Megan Rapinoe went to Ali Krieger's like retirement party right before right after the final regular season game in NWSL, and so I got to meet Alyssa Naeher, and this is what I said to her. This is what I said to her. I went up to her and I said,
"Please don't punch me in the face."
No, I said it didn't go over the line. From the World Cup, I said it didn't go over the line, and she goes, I know, right? And she just became a different person. Like I unlocked the real Alyssa Naeher.
that sounds about right, man.
I loved it.
She was so good too. I mean, in the shootout at least, she makes those saves. She scores that goal. It's nice to have that type of player who's there, who just like wants to shoot, wants to make the saves, wants to kind of make up for the mistake, and I think she did.
Yeah, it says a lot about because there were a lot of questions about if she would be the goalkeeper at the Olympics and having this success in the tournament, and maybe they go on to win it. They obviously are facing Brazil, but now I feel like the questions are kind of gonna get a little quieter because she's having quite the tournament.
And since you made her feel supported in saying that it didn't go over the line, do you feel like you get credit for her resurgence?
I mean,
you get the assist.
I'm her life coach now, bro. I'm here to motivate Alyssa Naeher. I'll say this: Alyssa Naeher, you see interviews and stuff like that, and she's like a fairly, she is not 5'4". She is actually, she's probably like she's like might be like 6'1" or something. She is a serious lady. She brings that seriousness, I think, everywhere she goes. So yeah, I don't want to be the one to tell her that she's not going to be on the Olympic roster. That's all I'm saying.
But you got her, you flipped that then. So you got her feeling good. You got her like being light. Well done, my friend.
We're happy to help U.S. Women's National Team.